So then, do we have another submission for this evening?
We've got a couple. We have The Illusionist versus The Prestige. We have No Strings Attached versus Friends with Benefits.
I've seen neither of the first two. I've seen one of the second one.
Then you've seen the other one too.
That's what I've heard. So
yeah, you're not.
Oh, but I am aware.
I'm
aware of the twist within The Prestige.
It's unthinkable, important, so all at once, but I couldn't fathom it. Living my whole life pretending to be someone else.
Ooh, what a twist!
I'm aware of the twist in one of them.
You want to do Olympus Has Fallen versus White House Down?
I have seen.
That's a pretty good one.
I've not seen the Channing Tatum one.
Goddamn traitor, sir.
With Jamie Foxx.
Well, then you have the same thing in common with the rest of America.
And I've seen both Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen.
We also have Ants in a Bug's Life. Have you seen either one of those?
I've seen both of those like 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah, me too. It would be hard for me to talk about that one.
All right, guys. I don't think we're prepared for this, is what I'm hearing. We're not mentally there today.
Yeah.
We got through one. I'm excited about that.
And we got through.
But I feel like we need to pick two for next week that we want to really discuss. If you don't even have to watch the movie, it's fine. You just at least got to watch.
Kid doesn't have to watch it.
The movie.
Well, hold on though, because I don't feel like it's fair if he's watched one of them. I feel like if he's watched one, he has to watch the other one. If he hasn't watched either one of them, don't worry about it.
That allows me to at least so now I have time between now and next week we might be doing Simpsons, but between our next session, I can sit down and watch White House Down and maybe even do a refresher on Olympus Has Fallen, just so I have a little more. If that's if we want to do between the two diehards in the fill in the blank, those are.
Yeah, I would say for our next week we'll do, or I mean whenever we do it next, the Olympus Has Fallen ones or President in Danger ones, and what was I just saying?
Deep Impact, Ants and Bugs Life.
I want to hold on Deep Impact now. I feel like I think Ken, you're right. I think we need to get our groove with this, because that's Kareem's like magnum opus for this.
Yeah.
That's
all right. How about this then? Well, you'd have to watch both, so that's a lot. As I say, The Descent or The Cave, or Mirror Mirror and Snow White and the Huntsman.
Oof.
I feel like
both
maybe
those sound.
Ebony might like Mirror Mirror. That's the Julia Roberts Snow White one.
Yeah, if I'm getting, and the other ones was Kristen Stewart. If I'm getting
roped into
something,
it's really Charlize Theron in that one mostly.
Okay. I mean, there's also like First Daughter versus Chasing Liberty. At least then you got some Mandy Moore.
Don't watch those.
Those.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Those are on the list because those are famous copycat movies, but they're not. Like at least Volcano and Dante's Peak are enjoyable because they're action movies.
Okay.
These are just like, I am kind of a coming of age girl who likes my dad's employee.
Oh man, I totally got confused as to which one. I totally thought Mandy Moore was the First Daughter one. No, that's the Katie Holmes one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What about, have you seen Tombstone or Wyatt Earp? I mean, Wyatt Earp's got Kevin Costner, so it moves kind of slow.
I want to say like I feel like I've watched Tombstone all the way through, but honestly, I just remember bits and pieces. So it's like, is it just more osmosis? Like I've seen some clips online, so I've seen it all that way. Wyatt Earp, I can't say I haven't seen it all.
Well, there's also A Quiet Place and The Silence. I think The Silence is on Netflix.
I've watched neither.
Fair enough.
I've watched Truman Show, but I haven't watched Ed TV.
Once again, much like most of America. All right,
I
have a recommendation.
I think that goes to our point though, and I think that was one of my like larger discussion topics. Was like, when you put out a movie like this, does it hurt
does it cannibalize the audience?
Yeah.
Are you purposely like, oh well, if you saw the bad one first, then is a good one gonna miss your ticket money?
Exactly. Does it even get and all these years later, we're like, I still haven't watched the other one.
I mean, not that it's in with that thinking. I know I would attest that I think Incredible Hulk was maligned because of Hulk. Like Eric Bana's Hulk hurt Ed Norton's Hulk, because I think the Incredible Hulk was far better than it was given credit for, and had far more potential. But just because people are like, no, I saw that Eric Bana one, I'm not going to watch it. And it's like, no, it's got more of a Mike Deodato Hulk. Check it out. It's good. It's worth your time, and it's part of the Marvel universe. So give it some time.
I totally agree. But I mean, to be honest though, we didn't know it was part of the Marvel universe.
We did, in that it has a deleted scene, or I'm sorry, it has a after credit scene with Iron Man. So
true, but we didn't think anything was going to come of this.
But we did, because at the end of Iron Man, he says, "Oh, you're part of a larger universe."
Yeah, literally, it's like, oh, it was the first tease. It was the, hey, this could be something. And then when they show Iron Man, and never followed up on that at all. I mean, they
exactly. That's my point. Is like
quickness.
There's nothing that came of that.
I know, but then we got Iron Man 2, which was like, Avengers are coming, assholes.
Mm-hmm. And then
don't ask about Hulk.
I mean, he'll be there because we have the rights, but we don't have the rights to a legally separate movie of him as the leader. So just wait until we get
and it won't be the same actor. And
no,
we'll barely reference things from that first movie. So just don't ask.
Yeah,
we murdered Liv Tyler just to be safe. Just thought I fucking killed her.
I mean, they shipped her off to Elfheim. I don't know where.
They put her on the boat.
Yeah,
get in there with Frodo, bitch. Get out of here.
It's Marvel. She can and probably will come back at some point.
Well,
I mean, we might be a Space Jam scenario for the next 30 minutes we have, but I mean, she could show up in Multiverse of Madness along with a bunch of other, like, hey, you thought you were done with
who?
God, what's his name? The original Rhodey. I have a soft voice, and I'm a tough man.
Terrence Howard.
Like, we could get something like that. Like, we could get a Terrence Howard or an Edward.
I think Terrence Howard is badmouth Iron Man enough that he's going to be like,
and Kevin Feige and everyone else involved. So yes, he has at this point. But I'm just saying, like,
that's why it's the baller move to put him in. That's like, hey, you know what? Here, you get a little taste. Don't ever come back again.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, obviously nobody knew this going into multiverse, but you know, if we make any movies after this, that you could pitch Liv Tyler as your Red Hulk.
Oh, as Betty Ross.
Yeah,
I'm taking Jennifer Connelly.
I mean, fair, fine. I mean, it doesn't matter to me either one.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone has at least seen Thunderbolt Ross with his daughter.
They can't use him.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. So you can at least use her.
I mean, who's to say that he hadn't already shot something, and also shot stuff for She-Hulk.
Fair point.
So, I mean, obviously
now he's just trapped as Red Hulk.
Well, that's
coming back down to human form.
Digitally, they could do his voice, and physically, they can do his presence because it's still, if he's Red Hulk. Yeah. But I think they would recast and just use Multiverse of Madness as kind of like, hey guys, we built ourselves an out. Boom, if we need to.
Doesn't this feel like the exact point of all this in some ways? Like, oh, our actors keep aging. Multiverse, baby. Let's bring another one in.
I mean, I know for a fact that's why it was like when they're casting like Cable, and they cast the actor because like, okay, he could be good for another 10 years from here moving forward. So they definitely keep that kind of like 10-year idea. Like, we need to keep pumping this franchise. So yeah.
I mean,
when they cast Cable.
Yeah.
You mean Josh Brolin?
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Really good for 10 more years.
Yeah, that's the way they see it, and it's like I mean,
he wasn't even good for 10 years for Thanos.
Well, that's because they off Thanos. And also he's still doing the voice too, and so he was in What If as Thanos, and also he did some on set stuff as well. But there's also times where he did, just did voiceover VO. So
yeah, fair enough.
So they keep that in mind.
Are they going to bring in a different Black Panther through the multiverse, do you think?
I hope so. I know that there was talk, at least initially, that they said that they wouldn't be recasting. And I hope, and I think I've said this, I don't know if I said this on this show or on air even, or just like in group chats. I think that the role of T'Challa that he plays, the character plays, is larger, and he needs to be seen more on screen as a representation of that character. I don't think just the little bit that we had of him and then replacing him with Shuri, who was, in the story has worked. And there's no other real good follow-up Black Panthers. There's Cash. There's a character who becomes like essentially a street level Black Panther at one point in New York, but he's not like Wakanda's Black Panther. He takes up the name for a short time, but it's not the same. So I think, and this is coming from, a white dude, so take it with a grain of salt. But I think that there's a larger role for T'Challa in the universe, as well as a role model to play for young people. So I think that he deserves a larger role in continued stories, because I understand the first reaction, say like, what, we're going to leave things be. But like, there's been some time and say like, what, maybe we do want to continue on this character and give him another chance, because
my question is, how do you see past that embodiment of T'Challa to not just see T'Challa part 2 versus the continuation of the character? Like, you're saying that the character has a place in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And if he embodies that specific character, how do you then switch gears and be like, oh, this is the character going forward?
Well, you plant those seeds within. The harder part is that if you try and do it within Multiverse of Madness, anyone who missed Multiverse of Madness would going into, I believe the next series is Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Is the name of the thing. Is how do you like make sure that those threads carry over? I mean, the right casting, I think the right casting and story, I think, allows you to step away from anything that's too, like, even with Terrence Howard too.
Well, see, I was thinking the same thing, except it wasn't like you gave War Machine his own movie and then immediately replaced him afterwards. You gave a side character who was in 2.5 minutes worth of screen time, a different person.
I mean, it's not ideal. It's not, but
yeah, absolutely.
It's just there's. I'm sorry, Ken, please.
No, you're that's exactly right. It's just, it's not ideal. There's no ideal. The ideal is that unfortunately he never passed away, that we still had Chadwick. That's ideal. And so you just make the best of a bad situation. I agree that it's not going to be an easy handoff, but it's I don't think there's also an easy handoff to the character of Shuri as Black Panther, because we just had.
I agree. I don't think. I mean, she's also problematic as an actress anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so to be like, okay, we just did Black Panther 1, and that's a story of this person becoming the king of Wakanda. And then you do Black Panther 2, and it's like, oh, this is a story of her becoming the queen of Wakanda. Like, you're just kind of like, then you're just retreading the same ground. So how do you, the best way to be able to move forward would be to continue on with that character, even if it's a new actor. And you do some of that seed planting within Multiverse of Madness, and then when you come back to Wakanda Forever, then you try to reap what you sow. I mean, it'd be a crazy twist to do, and I don't think they'd do it, but you could go and say, oh, at the end of Black Panther 1, he still saved Killmonger, and he put him in stasis, and now he pulled, like, with something happening, they're like, you know what, we still need a king because we have too much of a patriarchy idea, and they pull him out of stasis, and like, hey, now he does the good cop, bad cop thing, or not good cop, bad cop, but he does the loose cannon with like someone who's like, I got to train you and show you the ropes and be a good guy.
Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships, because they knew death was better than bondage.
That's another crazy idea, but that's more of a what if, so don't take that at all.
I'm sure they had that discussion because his character was so well received as a villain. But and once again, take this for what it's worth coming from me. I think, and I'm looking at it specifically from the stories supposedly they want to tell. You kind of need T'Challa to go through Secret Wars if you're gonna really do that, if that's the end game.
Wait, do you need T'Challa
him.
or do you just need Black Panther?
I mean, specifically, you could do it with another Black Panther.
Secret Wars or
guess.
Secret Invasion?
Secret Wars. The supposed end goal in all of this is Secret Wars. It's why you're opening the multiverse. That's the rumor I had heard.
Okay.
So, and if you do that, you need the T'Challa Neymar dynamic, and this is just the comic.
Well, see,
book fan in me.
that's what I'm wondering, if like it would have been better off to start that dynamic with a new Black Panther.
But you say a new Black Panther, but you're not saying T'Challa. So you want Shuri to face off against Namor?
No, not Shuri.
Okay, so
you could have a new Black Panther, but if you start the dynamic with these two new people, then you can go on for, God willing, however long their careers last.
Okay, so who are
and
you
make that
saying
jump off point
instead of T'Challa?
It's a good question.
I mean, it's what's his name?
You could pivot M'Baka in there.
It's M'Baka if you're gonna go with a guy and you're not gonna go with Shuri, it's M'Baka.
Yeah, I mean, I like the actor. I think the problem is there though. Does he want to be? It's because I guess that maybe it's a lot of the world building in my head. Does M'Baku want to be Black Panther, or does he want to be? He wanted to be king. He didn't want to be Black Panther. His tribe, which again, that this ties into the original kind of history of the character and the poor connotations that it has brought over. He was originally Man-Ape, and so does he want to continue on with Bass the Panther God, or would he want to be a gorilla character? There's lots of this is not something that I want to push further on because it's problematic as all get out. But
I think I think
but
you're right. But I also think he, at least at the end of the movie, they laid the groundwork for him being a team player.
Oh yeah.
If he's to adopt the mantle, I think it's because he wants to combine both the ape tribe and T'Challa's, Panther stuff as well. And he'd be like, I'm going to watch over everything. He may favor the apes more often, but
didn't he show up? He showed up in Infinity War too, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he did, because he was there at the final battle of Infinity War, and I believe he came back at Endgame because everyone did.
I think
he was there at Endgame too.
I mean, most of them just woke up like, oh, we're here. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll catch up
We're
later.
Still fighting. So I think that would be a good pivot for them, or maybe not a good one as much as you're saying, but I think it'd be an easier pivot for the audience to digest.
So you think that any recasting at all would be too much, and it'd be preferable to switch to I was about to say the name, but it's M'Baku's preferred over.
Yeah, well, because I think it's going to be easier to explain in your movie why he's the Panther versus saying, why don't you go watch one of the other ones that you might not have seen to understand why this person is here.
I mean you don't.
Go ahead.
I'll say you don't think that audience can just see like, oh, he's recast, and just start with him and just move forward and just they're people just calling him Black Panther down the movie, like they acknowledge that that's him and that's who it is. I mean, given you could do the thing of like you plant the seed in multiverse of like, oh no, this is the Black Panther of this world, and then at the end of multiverse, like, oh, things are kind of mashed together. He's the Black Panther of our world. He's still T'Challa of this world.
No, and again, I'm not trying to say the audience is dumb, because you have varying degrees.
Yeah,
you have varying degrees of audience people. I like to think we're intelligent enough to decipher this, and there are millions of us like that who like it.
I think you idiots are perfect.
I'm just saying that like you're asking people to at least have watched another movie, and fans of Black Panther may not be, they may go see Black Panther. They may like the actors and actresses, and they may be waiting for another Black Panther to jump in for the Marvel movies. They may not go see Endgame or anything like that. So now they're going to be, oh, there was a movie with Wanda and Doctor Strange that I those two characters I don't really care about, but I have to go watch their movie in order to understand why this new actor is being called T'Challa.
Kareem, that's the entire basis of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the base.
It is.
You got to go watch the other movies.
But I'm not saying it always works out that way, especially when you have
I mean,
people coming into Black Panther who hadn't watched any
Fair
of the
enough.
Avengers stuff.
I'd want to argue with you, but people still stand up at the end of the film and leave before the after credits. So clearly there are those who are just destined for dying in the zombie apocalypse because they don't have, any common sense. But I don't know that it would be that hard to accept if they just recast and just went with it. But I mean, I also know that the audience varies. They come in all shapes and sizes, because some of them are still like, oh no, the best cheer moment is Flash going into the Speed Force in Zack Snyder's movie. Like, no.
Somebody, I don't know how they rigged that. But
a bot, a very easy. It was just
Yeah.
like checking the number of hashtags. I'm like, you could do a bot to do that, and just all the neckbeards go like Zack Snyder. Boo.
Well, I mean, it is online. You're not asking actual people who probably
True.
did other things with their life. So
Yeah, exactly.
But to your point though, the switch between Rhodey and in the Rhodeys, whatever, and everyone accepting Don Cheadle, I also want to know how many people knew that Terrence Howard was actually originally War Machine. I think a lot of people were just like, oh, Don Cheadle's always been that. It's gonna be harder for people to take that exact same approach, because if you gave Terrence Howard his own movie, people would be like, where did Terrence Howard go?
That makes sense, but you either none of the options are good. To me,
Right.
it's probably better just to recast and just don't even make it part of the multiverse. Just recast and go, you know what? We want to continue to tell these stories. We like this character a lot, and we think we think it's an important character, and we want to continue with it. It's not ideal, and we'll do everything we can to honor Chadwick Boseman's memory. But it's probably easier just to recast than try to do a convoluted, in the multiverse, Black Panther's you. I don't know. Like,
Yakov Smirnov.
In Soviet Russia, car drives you.
Well, that's what I was
Just
saying.
seems-
If you just did the story, if you built it into your story, not only is it self-contained, but it explains what's going on.
Built what into the story?
The fact that, if it's M'Baku or some other person takes the mantle.
but you have to
You're
do a
expanding
whole
in your story.
movie. The whole movie then has to be about how they become king or queen again.
No, it doesn't. You know the process, how they do it. Now you're just
All
saying
the
someone else did
flowers
that
are gone.
process. No, they're not.
Yeah, remember he had 'em all burned.
Yeah, all the in the story that he burned down all of the heart-shaped leaf. He burned down the
Oh yeah.
reserve. So I mean, unless that's seeded in from something else like the multiverse, it's kind of gone. So I mean,
Well, maybe they just compensate with the suit then.
So and then I mean, they could if they want to. That's I hope that it comes down to I believe in Ryan Coogler. I think that whatever he wants to bring to the table, I think he has enough of a hold on the character and of what he wants the movie to be that I kind of trust in him and in Marvel that they would give him the space to write the story that he wants.
Yeah.
I hope that he gets there in a way that feels organic for him and for us, and that doesn't feel too I mean, to be honest, kind of feel like the Star Wars with Carrie Fisher passing away. You're like you did the best you could, all things considered. I get it, but dang.
It reminds me of The Dark Knight Rises, where they had an entirely different movie planned and Heath Ledger passes away. It's like, all right, we got to go back to a lesser film, not a bad one, but a lesser one, and mine that to wrap this up. So
But that's to my point though. You guys were saying like, oh, why don't you just recast Heath Ledger?
I mean, if you had to do the Joker movie, yeah, at that point.
But
the difference is he's not the main. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you rewatch Dark Knight, he's the main character. It's a
Yeah,
Joker
fair
movie.
enough.
It's not, but it is not. It's not called.
How dare you say that?
It's not called, Batman. It is called The Dark Knight. So it is.
It's called
It is-
Grumble.
Follow me!
All right. Yeah, fine. Where were the other drugs going?
Oh, wait. What was that?
What?
Do that again.
Where were the other drugs going?
You know what? That's not bad.
I just lost my voice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You're not just saying that.
Yeah, no, I swear to God.
Swear to me!
So yeah, so that's kind of where it is. It's like, oh, there's a lot of weight in those shoulders. So it's like, how do you fill those shoes?
Yeah.
So it's half and half.
Oh, Scarlett Johansson. What are we doing, guys? Just cast Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah,
we
because she's
even
not
had
Black
this
Widow
discussion.
anymore. We're
Yeah, it's fine.
No,
She could play a tree if she needed to. All right, man.
It's tough in the universe where we have group where that argument's there, and you're like, well, I mean, yeah, I get it. So we actually have a tree played by a
But
tree.
not CGI'd. Not CGI.
But I don't believe that
That's the
tree as
tree.
much as I believe ScarJo playing a tree.
It's fair. She's a really good actress.
So
Tree-
so we've come away saying ScarJo should be the new Black Panther.
Yes.
I don't know about we. I'm
We,
just-
you're included in this, Ken. I'm attaching
signing
your name,
off.
Ken Rolo,
the royal
to this
we.
idea.
Just go ahead and
I almost want to say this might have been your idea.
I'm pretty sure.
That's what I remember hearing.
guys. I don't.
That's what the
are you
tape's
still
gonna say.
I just
You want to vote for ScarJo as Black Panther? Oh, got it. Got it.
I got it. All right. It's recorded. Don't worry about it. We'll clean it up. All right.
All right. Well, we will have apparently 2 episodes. We'll have this bonus Space Jam episode
Bonus.
plus our first ever competition
Do you?
or our copycat movie.
side note. The character's name was Kevin Cole.
Kevin Cole from
from it was a Marvel Knights run of Black Panther, and
okay.
for a while I think he essentially found a suit of a vibranium suit and ran around as a kind of as a Black Panther character.
He's just like,
How do you find a suit?
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean I haven't read the series in a good long while.
Damage
but-
control.
Yeah, and so he eventually becomes the White Tiger, but at one point he was the main character of the Black Panther series. But
He's
that's-
White Tiger.
He's a version of White Tiger because there's other White Tigers as well, and also don't not to be mixed up with the White Wolf, who is someone else in the comics, but is Bucky in the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's also a female White Tiger who was a descendant of the original White Tiger. It's a lot of legacy characters. I shouldn't say that, which is surprising for Marvel because they're not as big on legacy as DC is. DC does far more of the like, oh, here you go. Here's the role. Now you're Captain Marvel. Or
Marvel does it.
Shazam.
Marvel does it when like they have a like in the far future. Then they go with the legacy, but it's never a 1-to-1 passover.
Yeah, it's not like, oh,
Very
thanks,
rarely.
Vance Astrovic, take this shield.
Have fun.
Do we have it confirmed that they're going to be putting Neymar in the movie, or are we still speculating?
I think it's still speculative,
Okay.
but it's also because of the characters who the idea that we have almost confirmed that the Illuminati will be there. So it's like, all right, well, we're gonna have.
Also, this is how you get to Doom too. If you're not going to do it directly through the Fantastic Four.
Oh, Doom.
Yes.
Doom.
Well, they are doing
Boom!
Who's doing the Fantastic movie? Isn't the same guy doing the X-Men movie doing the Fantastic movie?
We don't
Fantastic
have any confirmation on the Fantastic Four movie.
Four?
It's just that
I thought they had a director announced.
I thought they did
Did
too. Yeah. It's the same guy who just did Spider-Man, isn't it?
Oh, really?
I thought the No Way Home, the Spider-Man series is doing Fantastic Four. I thought.
John Watts.
Oh, well, there you go. I
don't have a-
Supposedly.
I typed in
We don't have a confirmation on X-Men.
Fantastic Four director and it says Josh Trank. So I don't know what you're talking about.
No. Oh, you put the 4 in the middle. That's your problem.
I did spell it Fan Four Stick.
Yeah,
That's my.
yeah.
I
That's the
spelled
issue.
it Fan
Four
Four Stick. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's definitely they
still ride
consulted
that hype
Reed
train.
Richards on that.
I mean, John Watts is a perfectly competent director. That's fine. He's good. I would have preferred like a Brad Bird type, but whatever.
What has Brad Bird done? I don't know. directors by name like
Incredibles.
this. Yeah,
The
I like
Incredibles.
Would have
Incredibles.
made
Yeah.
a lot.
You mean
of sense.
that's Disney's
The
version of
animated Fantastic Four.
Mhm.
Guys, we got to get to the bigger question: who's doing the X-Men and why?
Why is money?
Money, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's whoever they'd hand it to.
I mean,
Sam
and
Raimi,
no, because it's gonna be
No.
X-Men is gonna be far more
M.
formulaic.
Night Shyamalan.
No, Fantastic.
They look like normal people, but what a twist!
What a twist!
No, it's gonna be far more formulaic. It'll be very like we want this to do well. If we get to like a Wolverine movie or the first spin-off X-Men movie, mutant movie, that can have some kind of extra flavor to it. But the first one's going to be very kind of like just guaranteed 4-quadrant. It's going to hit all the notes.
What
people.
team do you start with?
I was gonna say, do you think they start with a team first, or do they do individual movies first?
I think we get some seeds planted in other stuff like they always do. Like they had Avengers 2. Like they're like, oh, here's some seeds for this movie, and then they drop them in. I do think that's a good question. I would imagine we'd get an X-Men movie, because we're gonna have. I mean, I think it's all but confirmed we have Professor X in Multiverse. So, like that's your inroad, and then we learn about the school, and that's.
But do you think he's Professor X at this point, or is he just Xavier?
Oh, he's Xavier Professor X, but we could get
He's a war criminal.
Ring the bell.
We would likely get our own MCU specific one. Like he will be in the MCU, but he will be still the Fox Professor X that we'll get our own interpretation of.
So we're getting okay. Go Pat.
No, go ahead, please.
Let's say, so are we getting like a multiverse version of the Illuminati then, though?
I believe so, because this is just rumors and conjectures, and sorry to spoil this for anyone, but here we are. Like supposedly the Iron Man will be the Tom Cruise Iron Man that was like the original pitch Iron Man, which in that case we could also like it'd be crazy if we got like a Peter Parker, Leonardo DiCaprio, which we're not going to get, but like that type of stuff. I mean, that's the kind of
chunky ass Spider-Man.
Hungry Spidey.
I mean, food's good, guys. Why you gotta be so mean? Like,
it's a fair point.
Just saying.
If you got that much money, you go.
And I hope he has the South African accent from what was it? What was that movie that he did?
Better watch that type of talk, Miss Bauer. In America it's bling bling, but out here it's bling bang, huh?
But if I had his money, I'd be going to 3-star Michelin restaurants like every other day at least.
I would too. I'm just saying he's slowly evolving into Jack Nicholson.
And you'd be vaping and basically sleeping with women for 30 seconds and then vaping.
I mean, because we know Patrick Stewart's long in the tooth, so I just wondering because it's his voice. I'm
How dare you?
He hasn't seen the new episode of Picard.
Ken talked about the 10-year long thing that they have to kind of plan for.
Well, no, but see, this is the end of the parentheses of that universe for them. This is them like closing it up so that this can be his last. Like this, and then it's like, okay, now we move forward. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. This is the multiverse version of him, and then we'll see a semi-younger version of him.
Look,
or they get crazy and just do James McAvoy and
I think he's tired of being bald. He said.
That's this version of the universe. He gets to have hair. So
the thing
and walk and not be Xavier
is ever since I read like, oh, you do Denzel Washington as Magneto, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see that.
I mean, the guy who did that impression online is phenomenal. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, okay. What? Well, they will be dropping it for our viewers at home. You will be able to see the Denzel Washington Magneto in just a moment because Kareem's going to be an awesome guy.
Seen it one too many times. Children taken from their families, mothers, fathers, loved ones shot dead in the streets. They have taken my DNA and they have categorized me as criminal, terrorist. And they will do the same to you. Put your identity on the inside of boxes and label you. Misfit, illegal, does not belong. They will get those who do not look like you, those who are not you, to agree with what they have to say. And as soon as they have the okay from the people to cover themselves, protect themselves, they will kick down your doors, invade your privacy, raid your lives, and they will exterminate you.
I just, ever since I read about it, is like some of the casting, it was like, oh, that's amazing. It's not, they wouldn't do it. It's not long-term enough. They're going to want to keep Magneto around.
All right. Let's see.
I will say the biggest dick swinging move Marvel could do is like, no, we're gonna make Shadow King the big bad.
Shadow King.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Exactly.
I've got to get the wife to sign into this account so I can stop using. I can start using premium like a gentleman. It's this stupid commercials.
Regular like an animal.
I like the ads.
You wait your 15 seconds.
Skip. For the love of God, skip.
The worst when they don't even give you the skip.
So I told you, Pat, I'm reading Grant Morrison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting caught up in all the. Not gonna lie, your boy Cyclops so far is coming off kind of like a douche.
Yeah, no, it's not a good look for him.
Whiny PTSD douche.
Yeah. I'm not arguing against it.
All right. If you look in the Discord now, you will see the video that I just shared. There's a person doing an impression of Denzel Washington as Magneto. It's fairly solid.
All right. Well, I'll watch this after I let you go. I know you have to head out.
I'm watching it now.
Never mind. Well, then I'll watch it now too. Then.
Holy shit! Damn.
I'd follow this guy in a battle.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that impression is a pretty solid Denzel, and like Denzel, like I would watch that in a heartbeat. Like there's,
I was gonna say, whoever's writer is pretty good too, because it's one thing to do an impression,
right? True.
It's another thing to have something to say.
Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely like I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'd watch it, and it's like it is also too. It's a tough part because you have the power of Magneto's character being based in the Holocaust and how that affects him. I think that updating it is also good because now having Magneto, this kid who is in the Holocaust, around now and still like at least the comics is like, oh, he got rejuvenated by this thing and that. Like it is tougher and tougher for Magneto to be modern day.
Time out.
Yeah. Didn't
Moira McTaggart de-age into a child and try and raise him again so that she could turn him into a good guy?
Can we leave McTaggart out of stuff?
With that?
She's got a whole. I feel like Marvel doesn't know what to do with her.
I mean, that's
they know what to do with her.
Yeah, as I say, Jonathan Hickman knew, so
yeah, and
there's that. But I do think that as much as I love Sir Ian McKellen, I think that at some point, I mean, his power was in the way he carried himself, but he was like a much older gentleman, and he's not the imposing nature of. And I'll admit too, I got into like X-Men reading them in the Jim Lee era, so he just drew him as this cut god on Asteroid M, who's just like, oh, I've got this luscious hair, and I'm also at this point 70, so but just go with me on this. Like it's a very much a different character than Ian McKellen, at least physically.
I mean, that's how I always saw Ian McKellen.
Well, okay, fair enough.
But God, Ian McKellen.
But yeah, so that's where it comes down to. I'm like, if they want to update that character, they have to do it right. And I've seen that. I'm like, okay, I'm on board. I'm also far more forgiving than a lot of people because a lot of people are like, oh no, like if you get to the core of the character, then I'm with you. When you miss the core of the character and you decide like you throw the story over here, like, oh no, Superman's good with snapping necks and letting his father die. I'm like, no, you're missing.
Let it go.
Core.
Let the shit go.
Superman.
No!
So,
no! I mean, I think to your point though, it's gonna have to either be someone from Iraq or someone black if you're gonna keep the core of persecution being the utmost fear of Magneto.
I think it's tougher. I know that the fear if someone's
I mean, I guess he could be from like Venezuela or something like that too.
I guess, but you've got to essentially you've got to say, okay, when is the movie set? Rewind it by 40 years, because how old do you want Magneto to be? And then see what events took place around that. I mean, is 9/11 your inciting factor? But 9/11 was massive, but it was still nothing as big as internment camps by either the Nazis
the
or
Iraq
us.
War was what was that?
Horrible.
Was that mid 90s?
I mean, it depends on when did we declare victory for Desert Storm, and when did that? I was like, that's like
you could do it Guantanamo Bay.
Okay.
I mean, either way, you're looking at someone who's going to be about 30 something years old, 40 at the most. If you do it, if you make them from Iraq or Afghanistan, If you make them black, then you can do it. You can go your age however long you want.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do it from South America, you can go from the 50s and sooner.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm on board for a good adaptation of the character, and as long as they still get to the core, but it's very hard to step away from that initial thing.
So there are a couple ways around this if you really wanted to go around it. And I cannot remember the name of them. I apologize, but there's some actually some guys on TikTok that have kind of mapped out a way to do this. And I want to say in a few of the X-Men podcasts have mapped out a way to do this, where basically you just make Magneto and Xavier the old guard that are leaving. Like they are the age they're supposed to be, but this is their last hurrah, and then the new generation comes in. So
yeah, but that's going to make Magneto. What is he going to be?
Yeah, Magneto's 90? He's done. Like this is the end of Magneto.
This is his last appearance. This is his retirement party. He's like, I'm going to go out on top.
But I'm saying he's not even going out on top. He's going to come out in a wheelchair. Like you don't get Magneto even in his last days in this day and age. You're going to get one on a ventilator saying, "Oh, do it for me." So why even have that? Why even have that version of him?
You said it in the 80s. You have Professor X do the "No More Mutants" line, and when he dies, the reality he makes everyone forget that mutants exist.
But then genetically, but genetically they still happen.
Yeah.
Hey,
like this is a Doctor Strange thing.
Who is Spider-Man?
Let the dogs out.
Who is Spider-Man? A poorly written. The guy who did John Watts is responsible for this poorly conceived ending. I'm so frustrated. I'm leaving this podcast.
You can find me at Patrick_Canelo on Twitter, where I'll probably be tweeting about the slap heard around the world and saying I don't know anything.
You can find, where can they find you, kid?
Find me at Ken Rollo across the interwebs, different spots, usually there.
Look in your heart, you'll find the answer.
And you can find me at Mindhead1, where on Twitter, where I'll be defending our newfound Spider-Man or Superman, the darker, grittier Superman.
Wait, a newfound the Tyler Hoechlin one, the one on CW. He's pretty good. I do like him.
He actually is good. I like him.
He's our newfound Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his face.
I'm talking about the Snyder Superman. Snyder Man.
I'm sorry. You talking about Witcher
I'm
Man?
defending Snyder Man.
Yeah, Witcher Man. I'll watch Witcher Man. Like,
I don't think it's called Witcher Man. Gotta be honest.
Witcher.
And if you keep acting up like this, I'm gonna have to snap your neck.
Valley of Plenty.
The way we saw things in the Snyderverse. No more slaps. Snap necks, slaps. Bitches.
I would like Ken to end every episode singing the Witcher song.
You know what I mean? This is gonna be cut out, but I don't know if you guys saw. Someone made the comparison of what's the guy with the laser eyes from the Eternals, and
Icarus.
Yeah,
Icarus, and yelling Superman from Snyderverse, saying they're the exact same character.
I mean, they make the comparison too in the movie. They say he's Superman in the movie.
No, but they do a frame for frame of that same scream / powers and stuff like that.
I mean,
it's weird. It's weird they call him Superman, guys. That's weird.
Yeah, because in that world, Superman exists as either at least a comic book or like a intellectual property, or they know of a Superman. Yeah, like I don't know. But on that note,
what if they're referencing a different Superman type of Superman?
They're saying, "Oh, he's an Ubermensch," and that's like
Nietzsche.
Lost the war. Yeah, like what's?
Good night, everybody. I'm not going down.
Good
this
night.
road.
Yeah.
Game over.